Hello everyone, this is a review of Diablo 4. Thank you for clicking on the video. Just a quick warning, this video does contain spoilers. The story starts with Lilith, the mother of humanity, being summoned back in his sanctuary. Inarius, father of humanity, has escaped from hell after being imprisoned for thousands of years. Soon the two clash for the hearts and minds of humanity, both claiming to be the savior of. The game concludes with the defeat of Lilith and Inarius. All the while, Mephisto, a prime evil and lord of hatred, has been imprisoned into his soul stone and taken to Sanctuary. The game has a good start by inserting the players in Diablo's dark identity, with the player's first quest mirroring Diablo 2's beginning, to clear out a den of evil. This quest sends the player into a dungeon to defeat a mob of monsters, but Diablo 4 takes a twist with the villagers turning on the players in an attempt at cannibalism. The rest of the game proceeds in the same manner as the start, with corruption and decay of good in Sanctuary. Keeping to tradition of Diablo games, the player gains companions as he proceeds through the story. Each of these companions were brought to the player by tragedy, with Donut, a key character to the plot, losing his old friends to corruption, and his son becoming a host to a demon he defeated in his youth. Now, the gameplay in Diablo 4 is fun, but it's not without its criticisms. The stats listed in the game I thought are repetitive, such as Lucky Hit, Overpower, and Critical Strike. All three stats are described differently, but ultimately seem to do the same thing, just in a different way. The abilities that are unlocked through the skill tree are limited by use to a small number, for no other reason than because they are. I just believe that if I can unlock it, I should be able to use it, and with Diablo's current action bar, I can't. While the player fights their way through the map, they will be rewarded with loot drops. These drops seem unbalanced at times when compared to the sources. I've had tree stumps drop better gear than a chest, and I've had elites give better loot than some of the bosses. Now, this might be the weirdest complaint, but I felt that Diablo 4 does not have a unique loot system. The game has an incredible amount of loot defined with almost endless combination of stats, but because it is endless, I didn't feel a need to get better loot. I just knew I would get more, and I didn't need to look for it. Compare Diablo 4 to other games, players will create videos or guides and tell people that this sword is what you need for this class, while these pair of boots are for this class, and where to find all of it. That kind of player interaction doesn't seem to exist for Diablo 4. Now, the bosses themselves are not too difficult to fight once the mechanics of the game are understood and the player has proper stats. Unfortunately, upon my second playthrough for Season 1, I realized that I completely forgot about a few of the bosses. The boss doesn't need to be hard, but it does need to be rememberable, and the two are not necessarily the same thing. Now, I will come out to defend Lilith, the final boss, in one small way. Lilith is a lesser demon, but the world building of the story, she is weaker than any of the previous in-game bosses, including Malthael, the Angel of Death who possessed the Dark Soul Stone. Still, her mechanics were easy to learn, and the creators should have thought something special, such as Lilith summoning the souls of previous bosses in the game, or even a three-way battle between the player Lilith and Inarius. Since Inarius was defeated during a cutscene in Hell, I think he will return as a fallen angel in the next expansion. Now, overall, the core game is fun, it's the surrounding content that bothers me, and it's the start with character creation. Don't misunderstand me, I enjoy a good character creator, but in Diablo 4, it doesn't seem to fit in the game. Since the cutscenes with your character are so few, and during the gameplay the camera is too far away from the character to see all the small details put into its creation. I think the time that was spent on building a character creation would have been better spent on gear or map design, both of which were fantastic. The loot design is beautiful and can be customized to the point the player is creating a background story for the character. And I love the color palette and the designs for the map, I just wish the camera would zoom out. It's too far out to see the small details of the character and too close to see the map. Exploring the map of the game, I noticed another problem. Dialogue. Many of the NPCs in the game have dialogue and many more don't. I'm speaking of the vendors. There is no dialogue with the vendors that the player interacts with. This is a big breakaway from Diablo 1 and 2 because in those games the vendors were their own characters offering insight and even aid for the questline. I simply don't understand why the creators didn't give the vendors questlines and dialogue with the characters. Because of this decision, not really any of the vendors are rememberable. Another missed opportunity for dialogue and lore is the Whispering Tree. This is the oldest being in Sanctuary, and we get little lore or dialogue from it. The tree could have told the players what happened to all the previous hero characters from past games, or it could have given the players more lore on the Sin Wars, or what the world was like when only angels and demons lived on the Sanctuary. Something. Anything. The Whispering Tree is only the start of the in-game problems. The Lilith statues are particularly bad as they were taken away at the beginning of Season 1. This caused two problems in the game. First, all new players will have a permanent disadvantage against older players. Second, for myself at least, it caused players to speed through the game to get to the statues as fast as they could. Unfortunately, rushing the game continues in Season 1. Season 1 started in July, it ends in October. If you're a casual player like me, that doesn't give you much time to get all the content done. And in my case, if you rush through the game to get to the statues, then you have plenty of content unrelated to the season to finish. The Season 1 content, I'm not sure is even worth doing. Many of the rewards you get you won't be able to keep for next season, apart from the cosmetics. I consider Season 1 a waste of time, since it does not build on the game or build up to the next part of the story. I had hoped Season 1 would be more about stabilizing the regions of the map and rebuilding the Horadrim. Instead, I think Blizzard will design gameplay that won't be around for next season. My overall review. I would like to play Diablo 4 again. I think it was fun and addictive to a degree. The story ended with a question for the future, but I do not recommend the season content as it is farming and it does not push the story forward in any way. Hello everyone, this is just a quick last minute edit into the video. I noticed that during my playthrough, whenever it was around too many players or too much combat was on the screen, or if I portaled into a new area, the game would freeze up a little bit. But twice I had to completely restart the game. That definitely lowers my approval of the game. I still think it's worthy of a playthrough. I just wish that the internet aspect wasn't involved in this game. That's what I think the problem was. Of course, it just may be my computer. That's a possibility. If you disagree, please comment down below. If you liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more. Thank you for stopping by.